Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Boy, that's all they talk about is real estate now. Interesting. I've been watching the concern. I've been watching the vacancies, so forth and so on. But it's getting down to the wire. There's a clock ticking, and it's just starting to become, I guess you could say, the stroke of midnight. We've been watching it for a while. I've mentioned it a few times here. We've seen last year with Evergreen, where the Chinese government just flat out defaulted on all the property altogether. Just flat out defaulted. Oh, got a message. I got to respond to that real quick. Let me do that. Just let me finish this text back. There we go. I'm back again. Now, I thought there was going to be, I'd imagine that there's, between the debt ceiling that possibly, we want to put out there, possibly comes towards a conclusion in the middle or the beginning of June, which I don't think so. We'll know a little bit more soon on that. The clock is kind of ticking on that. Now, we have a lot of real estate having to be rolled over and put the two together. Oh, let me get the chat line up too. And between the two of them, it's very tenacious. Very powerful forces pressing against each other, and so that itself is the the thing that's making the markets drift again today. Today. Oh. Let's get our charts up there, too. You see the dollar index there still lifting a little bit, which is kind of surprising. And let's put it up over here on Chicano Technologies. Chicano Technologies. Let's see. That's taking the word Chicago and Quant from a long time ago on the trading floors and making it Chicano. All right, let's get to the dollar index over here, too, on our work. Right there. And you can see here it's just barely holding into the buy. We got a red and a green. And no, you can't see that, can you? Let's try that one more time. Play it again, Sam. There it is right there. A red and a green. You can see the weekly having its pressure points. And we're just doing the little dip right there. And I imagine in a couple hours, if it stays like this, we'll start to see the Hinky-Ashky bars turn in the same direction. So, and so that's the answer to the whole shebang. I think that's the way it goes. The whole shebang. And then I had, then not counting that same dragged out story of, the dollar is going to lose its reserve currency status. It's like, good. Good. We've been trying to do that since 1980. Please do. I didn't get up at 2:30 in the morning to trade currencies in 1981 and 82 and, help start a currency exchange, that is still functioning, owned by the CBOE at this point. They bought it from the Philadelphia. And, we didn't start that cash currency exercise operation, for nothing and break those records and volume and so forth. We didn't beg and try to get the euro. Can you imagine when we first started, trying to suggest to get rid of the Deutschmark? Can you imagine getting rid of the Deutschmark? Germany was the most powerful industrial nation and still is on the continent. and getting rid of the French franc and the Italian lira and so on and so on and so on and so on. I could keep on going down the line. That must have looked like a pipe dream. Now every day you're trading that product. Metho 2000. So it's we would, for us realists, for us that really care about America and capitalism and the integrity of the world itself financially, please take us off that list. We won't be the world reserve currency. It'll be a group. One thing's for sure. The second most powerful industrial nation in the world and currency in the world is the euro. So it would be the European Union would be number 2. And then from there, it'd be sprinklings all over the place. And then I saw another story again. Matter of fact, we titled this yesterday, "Bricks and How to Build Them." That's what it should have been. Giannis, I really missed that one. That's what I should have called it. Bricks and How to Build Them, or How to Make Them. Because the bricks it would be wonderful if their currencies would float. That would force them to do capitalism. Right now, I mean, the real and the Chinese Yuan are a mess. They're not even realistic. So the pillar of the BRICS will be kind of like Russia would come in like number 5 or 6 on that list of the BRICS. At least that's compared to where I know who would be at the bottom, of course, and that would be the Brazilian real. And then obviously, I don't even know if the Chinese Yuan would actually be in it, since you can't exercise it, since it doesn't float. I mean, they would be affixed every day. That would be weird. I mean, that would really be a distortion. One day, what would happen? It would look like in 94, 95. It would look like long-term capital management with the currency that we will not name, the ruble, and the collapse of the ruble. One day that reckoning is coming to China. Doesn't matter how long or belligerent they act, or how much they want to try to buy property. And the end result is one day their currency is going to be worth about 20% of what it is now. That's about it. It's going to look like it's going to be Turkish lira all over. And if they keep on burning money up and in foolish ways, not economic ways, then it's going to even look worse than the Turkish lira. So that's where we're at with this whole shebang, I guess you could say. That's what it really comes down to, the shebang. All right, so from there, what's this? Milken on his book, Faster Cures. They got Michael Milken on right now. Hey, talking about the same thing as long-term capital management again. I mean, it's a blind man or woman could see it. So, anyhow, that is my riff for this morning, and let's get going on the currencies. This is a currency webinar and a commodities webinar. So let's get it on. All right, you can see there, like as I said before, you can see the dollar index here on Chicago Quant Technologies. Just kind of puttering along. There is some turn up, you can see on the weekly trend overall, but nothing that we're going to be too excited about. Let's see, and then let's see if maybe I should lower Milken in case it's bleeding into the background. There we are. All right, and then from there, let's jump over to the euro and see what the euro looks like this morning. And that's that euro that we talk about. Again, we talk reality here, we really do. As much as I can be, a guest speaker from another planet at times, what it really comes down to is that here's the euro. This is what was created to take the dollar away from having to be the world reserve currency. And somehow or another, people forget about that. And we've got a bunch of neophytes in the financial media thinking that we have to have the strongest currency on the planet, when in fact all we have to do is have just good laws and growth, and we will take off like a rocket beyond the planet. So I saw stats yesterday, that showed that we're basically the same as we've been like 30 years ago when it comes to the world, industrial production, currency strength, so forth and so on. So it seems like it's a false flag all the time. Anyway, there's the euro. Let's talk about where it's going so you can make some money. Remember, traders, we're here not to trade. We're here to make money. All right, and the overall trend right now is buy the euro and sell the dollar. That's what it comes down to. Now, the vehicle you use comes down to the amount of equity you have. And so you have to kind of, use common sense out of it all in the end. And you can see here we are threatening to get back into the daily buy there, right there. I did see the 30-year bond rising in price, which means interest rates are dropping. So every time we see that, this represents basically the direction of the bonds. When the interest rates are rising in the States, that definitely puts pressure on people to sell pairs and buy dollar. And that's pretty much the name of the game there. Let's put it up over on J4X. See, right there it is. Michael Milken and I used to ride a bus together going to Wall Street. Yeah, when he was at Drexel Burnham Lambert. I was a member of the NYSE or something like that. There we are, right there. You can see that it's got that same thing going on as we saw yesterday, which is very fascinating. We've got a green and a red going on. That's interesting. That's the open and the close, and then the high and the low is red. We've not really seen this occur much before. Now I'm starting to see it a little bit more. I don't know what has happened, but I'm really happy that it wants to do that. It's kind of making the way our, the way the red and green dots are. It's kind of neat to see that. Very unique. Now this one's kind of skipped. It's only one little green, and that's it. But I don't know what's going on there. But I like the measurement. I have no idea what the measurement is. We'll have to dissect it and figure it out. But that is kind of neat that it's actually starting to do this. I don't know why, and I'm really happy that it is, because it makes a little bit more sense when you use, J4X. At least you have a tool that's, kind of responsible and something you can trust. Another quiet day. It's been quiet. I guess Tuesday we had a good action day, didn't we? Metho and George and who else? Someone else jumped in there. We had some good action on some conversation on Tuesday. All right, and from there we'll jump over to the cable. Another one of those power blocks that we kind of had a general idea that it was very clear from the beginning when we tried to create the European unit. Okay, that's what we did. We created something called the European unit, and it was commingling a bunch of European European stocks, but not the British pound. So what you saw is that the British pound we always thought was going to stay an independent currency because of the Commonwealth more than anything else. I think that's what was in the back of our heads. Back in the 80s, we were thinking, okay, well, the Commonwealth could be a third leg to that stool. That's what we started talking about. We started calling it the stool, like a three-legged stool. We started thinking, well, the European continent could become one whole, United States of Europe. Britain has the Commonwealth, which is a combination of South Africa and Nigeria and Belize and Jamaica and Kenya and India, and in other words, it was just an amalgamation of many countries, and we thought that could be another leg, so that the Americans wouldn't have to have the responsibility of being the only currency in the world that everybody reaches for all the time. And we would have been very happy. We would be nowhere near in debt today. We'd be definitely healthier economically, and that was where our minds were at the time. But things didn't work out as well, and the world went bankrupt in 2008. And when the world went bankrupt in 2008, who was there to prop it back up again? The U.S. of A. That was what it came down to. Can you imagine? Lloyd's of London is gone. I walk around on a given day going, Lloyd's of London is gone. Deutsche Bank is gone. Citibank is gone. Merrill Lynch is gone. That monster of Wachovia is gone. Bank of Scotland gone. UBS, not UBS. HSBC gone. Santander gone. Now they're just companies in name owned by a central bank or another company in a forced marriage. And I like to keep on reminding you that, traders, every day that I'm here, because if nothing else, if nothing else, posterity, someday someone will run across these thousands and thousands of videos of DocDow on YouTube, and they'll start listening, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this guy was so in tune to what was going on in the financial world," and I guess what the greatest thing of all is, I'm able to blend in very invisibly in the world without having to, in an electronic market, you don't know if I'm trading a 10 lot or a million lot. You have no idea. And that's the beauty of it now. And it's been the beauty of it since the late 80s, early 90s. Anonymity is king now. You wouldn't know if I'm a billionaire or a poorless. And there we go. So there is the cable. And the cable is doing its job today. It's the second day in a buy. So it's let's put that line in there. There we are. And what else do we got going on when it comes to the cable? Very firm on the weekly. I'm not complaining there. You can see that. The weekly is acting very comfortable. We're not seeing too much weakness. You can see the profit taking that's been going on from this area, or let's say the digestion, where it consumes X amount and it now is digesting it, and then it'll start to consume again. And then when we go over to J4X, right there, you see the same situation. The fast-moving stochastic itself is trying to move up. It's through the zero line. You see this is the second day of a buy. So we've got these things working, analogous to each other, which is a cool thing. And then from there, we drift ourselves over to the Swiss. It's back in its saddle again, riding those mountainsides. And there it is right there. There's the Swiss. And it's doing what it should do. Is it's turning down just the same way that the British pound is also, or let's put it this way, let's rephrase that. It is gaining against the dollar the same way the euro and the British pound is. So if it's back in the saddle again. Now, I guess the biggest surprise will be is what are they doing to the yen? But the yen seems to be on walkabout. It's doing that Crocodile Dundee thing, mate. Let's see. And that's where it is right there on the cable. So let's get the Swiss up on there. And there's the Swiss. And you can see that weekly is not complaining. It's the fast has been underneath for weeks. The slow joined in again after going into it and then falling out of it from that hiccup right there. And you can see there on J4X, you can see the green line is trying to pierce the dashed line. And we got a red hinky kicking out. And we're also throwing, it looks like it's going to throw a red. I'm going to throw it in and save it this way tomorrow when I go. I put it in there and it's not there. I don't know why. And you can see here, I think it's trying to get into the cell as we speak. It's having no problem, it looks like. And we're going to go like that. And we're going to save that thing. No, not that way. We're not going to save it. Bloody Nora. Cancel. Let's try that again. Cancel. Uh, Save. There we go. And so this is good. It's nice to see after the noise that the Swiss central bank had going on around it last year, the way it ended, the way Credit Suisse had its issues. It's really good to see this pulsating along and doing a fine job. What else do we got going on here? I guess that's about it. You can see the zero line right there. So from there, we dance our way over to, which will be a surprise. I'm looking forward to this surprise. Let's see what the yen is doing. And there's the yen. Aimed down. Is that the yen? No, I'm sorry. That's the euro against the Turkish lira. Sorry about that. Let's go to the yen. Right there. Missed it by that much. All right. So we got the fast. In this case here on the daily, we got the algorithm moving down. The green line moving down. Let's see how it looks over on J4X. Okay, right there. And you can see at the same time, though, the fast is trying to break back underneath again. That's a good sign. The bad sign is that the slow has moved back up. If this fast drops underneath by, today's what, Thursday, right? If they put some pressure onto this and they start to bring the yen down into this area there, we start to get a red hinky there, and we have a full red dot, then we might be getting back into the saddle there too. But there's no doubt about it. The yen is on its own little march at the moment, and it does that at times. It really does. It over the decades, the yen joins in with the rest of the world currencies against the dollar, and sometimes it joins in with the dollar. It's an interesting type of currency. They've been one of our largest trading partners until this calamity, I want to call it now, of China, where China looked like they were going to become, as productive as the Japanese, but instead they've just become more of a leech. We'll see. We're hoping that things go back, or things get better. Let's put it that way. So. And that's what we're seeing with the yen there. It's a floating currency like the rest of them, and not like the Chinese Yuan, unfortunately. And so we can measure what's going on in Japan. And when it comes to understanding, other currencies that are fixed, it's very hard to appreciate their action whatsoever. And that's where we are. And I know I beat that drum every day. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Be able to exercise. And, if any of you want to know a physical evidence of what I'm talking about, look at the VIX. The VIX is a perfect example. And what we'll do today is we'll finish this off with the VIX, unless someone wants to see it now. People keep on saying, I don't understand. The VIX is down in the 21. Why can't we buy the market now? Or is it the other way around? Yeah, no, sell the market. Short the market. Then it got to 20. Let's short the market. And it got to 19. Let's short the market. And it got down to 18. Let's short the market. And I believe at this point the VIX could be in the 17s. I think that's pretty much where it's at. I'm going to take a quick peek to look just for the sake of it at this point. But that's what the problem is. It's not an American option. It's not exercisable. You can see there the Dow Jones Industrial Average is 3 days in a sell right there. I'm going to go satisfy my curiosity. And there's the VIX. Oh, that's not updating yet because they're waiting for the options to open. But yeah, it's down to the 16s now. Okay, with a low yesterday of 16.17. All right, and the reason why, traders, it's not exercisable. It's a European option. It expires at its expiration date, but you can't go in and exercise it during its lifespan. And because of that, when you can't do that, That's the explanation of why the VIX is not the indicator that people think it is. Okay? All right. Let's see. From there, where am I at? Let's get back to the currencies right there. So yeah, the yen, you can see it's piercing. That's cool. We wanted to do that. All right, now we can slide ourselves back over to. We'll take a look at the Turkish lira, the Euro Turkish lira pairs trade. And I am fired up today. It's fun. It's just seeing all these things come to its conclusion is a nice thing. As you can see there, same gig going on. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now we got two there. And so what was that one? It's almost there, like there. So there's a red, and then there's the green bar. What date is that? Does that match up to what we see? I don't know, but it's pretty good that it's happening. I'm very impressed. It's that AI thing, I guess. All right, and so what date was that it did that? That is yesterday, and yesterday we were a green and a red, so it's matching up to it. I'm so happy. That's cool. All right, and then so you can see here, the line is moved back up over the zero line. Looks like it's going to go back into the buy again and play around with the all-time highs again. That's what it keeps on doing, is playing with all-time highs. Unfortunately, the indigenous people of Turkey are feeling the stress of that, or the, how do they say it? They have a, in the financial industry, they love using really soft, gentle terms that could mean incredibly vicious things. Sticky. Poor Turkish lira is very sticky. Like as if you just put your hand into a pot of like honey from bees, the honey itself. Oh, that's sticky. Yeah. Or gum. Someone put gum that you were chewing in your mouth underneath the seat, and you put your hand to get up, and you put your hand right on the edge of the seat, and there's a stickiness. Yeah,
market
it's
data
stick.
connection lost.
So that is the stickiness. All right,
Market data
and then
connection
from there,
established.
let's go to. We see that right there. So from there, we go to where are we going from there? We'll go to the two currencies that match up to the commodities. Oh, I know it is. Yesterday we started shifting that gear there. We're doing Mexican peso now. So we're looking at the potential leader of the BRICS. All right, let's go to the Mexican peso right there. And that's a dichotomy to the last currency we just saw. 3 days in a buy. The fast has moved up through the zero line. The slow is still drifting down. So this is getting a little choppy in here. Ever since they've announced that potential to be part of the BRICS, it's getting a lot more choppier than it normally does. As you can see there, the weeklies usually had good trends, and then, I guess it went into the sell here and then into a buy and then back in the sell, and then you had this nice long slide. Everything was fine. But, it usually had 3 or 4 weeks in a position. Like here, it's not bad if it gets into a buy here. But it was a lagging thing. If now the fast put you into the buy here, and then we had, we were in a daily buy, and that strength was great, and that was definitely screaming at you, put a bull spread on, go binary, and then sure enough, it was a successful situation. But then we went into the sell here, and then we go back into a buy on the slow again, but we're still in the sell. Now we're still in the sell here, and in other words, this the blue line where the fast kept us down right, and then we went into the buy right here. Where's that line at on the buy? Hell, the leader of the potential top brick should be shown every day. That's the way I feel about it. And since they said that they were considered joining the BRICS, we'll call them the number one. Anybody else who has suggested to join the BRICS, I wouldn't consider number one. I would say that now Saudi Arabia has not said they're joining the BRICS. They said that they will use yuan or anybody else's currency to sell them oil, but they're still pricing it in dollars. So the media is basically rambling about nothing about that. And so that's where that stands. And you can see there's the strength. But trust me, if there was a really good currency, as good as the dollar, they would price their commodity in that. Why not? I mean, you want the best, you want the most you can get out of anything when it comes to capitalism. Bitcoin dropping again, leading the market on the downside. I just looked up and saw it's down 275, breaking the 29,000 area. And that's that other thing we always talk about. 2 days ago, I think we labeled that on the webinar. That the Bitcoin was heading, breaking the trend of the indexes. And so there we are. There you can see the Mexican peso, or the potential leader of the BRICS itself, moving up a little bit and losing against the dollar. And the weekly, though, is really mixed up altogether. So, let's see, right there is the CAD. And the CAD's been in a daily buy now, going on a third day. Right there, so. And you can see the weekly is trying to lift up. I am curious. I'm seeing oil and heating oil and everything, moving down the way they should this time of the year. Not necessarily crude, but just heating oil. And when oil goes down in value, the Canadian has a natural tendency to go up and lose against the dollar. So we're really got our eyeball on that. We're watching to see if that's gonna lead the energy sector on some level, or let's put it this way: the Canadian is confirming what's going on there. Now let's. I remember they did pass HR1, so the question is, I think it's tangled up in the Senate, and we'll see what happens when it gets through the Senate. If it passes the Senate, then the president will have to deal with it. All right, that was a sip of that tea again, with a little honey in it. And that is it. And let's do this. Let's put. Now you can see here. There's the Canadian. Now let's put the oil on the J4X itself. Right there. There's oil. Doing the same thing. It's moving down, and Canadian moving up. See, over those same amount of days. So they do have that tendency. And you see the green line piercing down and so forth. And then we'll come back to oil again, and we'll look at Brent and natural gas and the Spanish energy company and the whole bit. And then from there, we slide over to, let's do it here too at the same time. So what we'll do is we'll show you West Texas Intermediate right there. And it's doing that same thing, sliding just as you see right here, sliding. All right, now from there we're going to do this. We'll go to the South African Rand, and what we'll do is we'll throw up gold on J4X. There it is right there. And gold is trying to lift up a little bit this morning, and that's cool. And so from there we go over to the South African Rand right there. You see now the Rand is trying to go down, which is it's supposed to do when gold goes up in value. You can see right there it was in a sell, then it jumped into the buy there for a couple days right there. Not sure where the little green line is, but I'm tired of watching them disappear, so I'm just going to do this, put them in the spot where it belongs, and save it. There we are. There we are. There we are. So, there's the action there. Now, when it comes to looking at the South African rand itself, you can see this, the fast is moving up, but the slow is still down. So that's kind of positive in the sense that if it stays like that in this confusion, maybe we see more firmness again in gold, which would be nice. I mean, the poor metal traders, like the poor VIX investors, are totally confounded about the whole situation at this point. And that's exercise, really. It's hard to get a hold of physical gold, and it's hard to exercise VIX. And when you don't have that, they don't exactly follow the total trend. They're sloppy. They're saber-toothed. They're jagged. And that is how that plays out in the end, too. It has that jaggedness to it. All right. Now, from there, what we will do, as I had my sip of tea, we will take, there's the South African rand, there is gold. You see, as gold has been moving down, it was, as gold was moving down, the South African rand moving up. Now we've got that little twist going on there. And then let's show you right here what gold looks like also. And there it is right there. You can see it's trying to get into the buy. I'm tempted to take that green and move it down. But I'll leave it alone for the moment. But yeah, you can see here how it matches up to this right here. You can see how the green is turning up there. And what do we got? We've got everything as green there. Green, 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 green. Look at that. We got a little green right there underneath that one, just like we do right there. Not that one though, but it's cool. I'll take it. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm not even going to touch it. It's doing what I want it to do, show us little greens and reds. So I'm just going to be happy and just let it be. Try not to mess with the poor thing. If anything, I would love to be able to move this down, the Hinky-Ashky down to here. That would be the best of all. And then we could see the bars and a real price. And I might try to do that. That I might try to do, because I would be really happy with that. All right, and then from there, that pretty much completes our currency adventure. We're done with the currencies. Anybody who wants to see a particular one, just throw it up on the chat line. We'll go back to it. But at this moment in time, we're going to go now to, we're going to start looking at the metals. We'll go to silver. Is that it? Yeah, what is that? That's the South African rand. Okay, good. So we'll go like this. Close workspace. There we go. And so you can, that's the S&P 500 intraday, as you can see there. And we'll get to that in a bit towards the end of the webinar. We'll go after it, unless someone wants to see it now. If you want to see it now, we'll look at it. And that's how we play around here. If someone wants to see something, boy, we're there real fast to go for it. All right, now there is silver, and silver is looking even firmer. Yesterday, I thought it was very close to going to the buy. Gave us the red and the green. Let's put the silver up on the screen right there. Okay, and you see it go through the line. And so that is that right there. You can see that silver trying to turn up. And we even had a little volatility signal on J4X. Look at that. A green and a red. Hooray. I love that. And so then from there, I knew using that Hinky-Ashky could get close to matching the dots. I have no idea why it's doing it now, but I wanted to stay on doing it. Like I said, maybe they sick the Chat GPT on there or something and straighten it out. Who knows? All right. So from there, what's next? So you can see, anything else to say about the silver? I'll tell you, I was amazed. It went down to 24.71 yesterday. I was like, these poor metal traders, that live and die by the action, and it's like, there's so many of them out there. But thank goodness they've kind of gotten numb from it all. And I would love to see. I really would love to see a $30 silver or $33 silver, and then let 23 or 24 be the base, not 16. Like, what did it do? Go back to 16 or something crazy a few months ago? Like back in October. What's the low there? The low is 19 there. 10 weeks ago. There's the 17. Back in last summer. 17. Who's selling silver at 17? Honestly. With inflation roaring, who in their right mind is selling silver in the 17s? That's my angst about it all. I mean, they don't even, the central banks don't even make it look real. They just do what they want to do. That's it, and abuse the free market system. Ugh, drive me crazy. All right, from there we'll slide over to copper. And there's copper. And you can see there it's still in that sell, still having its issues. That's today. And let's check out it on J4X. Right there. There we go. And what else can we say about any of this stuff? I guess we can say not much. This is, to me, I always think of this as we're looking in the eyes of China when we look at copper. It's their gold. And when since the all-time highs are up in the fives, they drifted down into the 340s, 330s when China was totally in, just disaster. And now here we are back into the fours. It's almost up 33%, I guess you could say, from 330 to 430 would be that's a third, no doubt about that. So it does seem like it's stuck, though. It doesn't seem like it can really get moving along. There doesn't seem to be any ability to climb. I think that the writing is on the wall of all that calamity that I keep on talking about that I see, and no one else has meant. No, there's others that mention it, like myself, but very few. Most of the rest of them try to tell you that they're the second largest economy in the world. They have the second strongest currency in the world, and they're going to be, dominant of the world. You hear that over and over again. It's like, what? What happened to the European Union? Japan, British pound, or to Britain? I think, as far as I'm concerned, China is somewhere around numbers 5 or 6, or 4 or 5, or something like that. Anyhow, that's the copper, and that is how we see the copper, the eyes of China. You're looking into the soul of China. All right, last but not least, the one thing that really had me feeling pretty comfortable was, let's see if it's still making me feel comfortable. Yes, it is. Platinum yesterday. They did that in the European hours and then turned it up. By the time our webinar came on yesterday morning, this thing was plus and strong. It was, matter of fact, it was over the $1,100 area. And to me, that's the soul of the two metals, the two precious metals, silver and gold. When platinum is lifting, they are lifting. And in this case here, when gold and silver both started to back off, starting around here, platinum started turning up even more. And I kept on mentioning that on the webinar, that's very positive for, matter of fact, I think I even said it 2 days ago. Buy. See some strength, buy. Do it in options. Remember, I think I said something like that to, on Tuesday or Wednesday, I said that to George. Don't be afraid to put an options bull spread on or binary or do something. I said that in the webinar. It's like, gold is going to come back, silver is going to come back. And this was the reason why I really believed it. Not counting the fact in both products, as we can go back and look at again, just as platinum is in a nice, strong position on the weekly, going in on the, this is the fourth week itself. That itself says to me that the firmness is still there. And then when you see silver, silver same way. It barely was. I remember yesterday saying, look at the fast. It's just underneath the manifold, nothing more than that. No doubt that this has been a digestion going on, and they're consolidating. I guess that's what they like to call it in financial world. I just used the word. I forgot what it was again. Consolidating. That's it. I like to call it a digestion because digestion is a consolidation also. It's my pre-med days it does that. I think of it as digestion, not consolidation. And then that's what that's all about there. And then when we flip it back, and gold, it also same thing. As much as the slower algorithm breaking down and touching the top of the manifold and underneath it yesterday, I kept on saying, this is not bad. It's the histogram is holding up. That's something we don't talk about, is how the histogram plays into the two others with the manifold, and the fact that it's holding up well, and this is holding above it. That's the measurement. That's how you use the histogram, by measuring the distance between that and the lines, not the manifold. Okay. So in other words, in this case here, when it was in a negative, when the fast broke through the histogram and the manifold, and we were seeing an upwardly projection on the slow, that was a clear warning sign of strength to come. And it does that. And then as it keeps on going and reconfirming each week and so forth, and the actions each day, and the dailies showing you the strength, it says, hey, be long or you will be wrong. And that's probably the whole gig right there. You should have heard all the crazy voices I would do on a trading floor. All right. And then from there, probably why I enjoyed being dock master over the weekend. I'm able to do the same thing. I could not irritate. Let me say this again. Like I would refer to the team from MIT as the Michigan Institute of Trucking, things like that. Someone lit my brain loose and it slipped right out my mouth. All right. And then so from there, that just tells us the action in the metals market. Now let's row over to the crude. And there is crude. You can see it's still moving down the last couple of days. You see the fast has pierced the zero line altogether, and it's threatening to go after the minus. That's pretty tenacious. When it does that, you have to start to wonder a little bit here. And then if the green would join in, that's always interesting too. And then when the green takes off, that was really surprising how it led the battle, above, not below. Now let's put, like I said right there, you can see the scissors type of thing going on right here, with the fast dropping even down to the manifold. Now let's put Brent up on right there. There's Brent. Trading in the 81s. We saw it no more than 5-6 days ago in the 87s. Right there. Yeah, so they're putting the pressure on the energy sector, which is fine with me. Because I paid $3.19 and now I'm paying $3.49 no more than 7 days later. It's like, no. I don't want to pay more. I want to pay less. All right. And then makes all the goods coming to the stores cheaper too. All right. And so there's May crude over here. And there's Brent right there. And then let's see. They're trading at 77.55. It's doubles. We used to say double nickels on the trading floor. 77 sunset at double nickels, we would say. 77 sunset strip. We'd use both of those odd things, like when we would talk about a month on the trading floor. We would call it Rocktober or Halloween. We'd call December Christmas. We would call July 4th of July. We would call May Memorial Day. We'd call September Labor Day. In other words, we'd try to identify words even louder so people wouldn't get confused when you're screaming and yelling in a pit of 100 people or 200 people. You got to find some way to get the accuracy in there. And so we see 77.55 and we're seeing 77.30. So we got a 25 cent contango going on there. That's nothing. That's kind of interesting, though. I thought maybe once oil would start to drop, we would see the contango shift, and after we'll be switching the front month contracts starting Monday. So we'll see what's going on there. All right. So that is the two energies, and then from there we slide over to Nat Gas. So let's see what Nat Gas looks like. I'm just going to throw that on there, and I'm going to do Nat Gas first over on Chicago Quant instead. This way you can actually see the two of them matching up to each other. And let's get Nat Gas in there, like so, right there. Nat Gas put that charge into it yesterday. I was really disappointed. I was hoping that we'd get to the 26s or something, $2.60. Yeah, not 26. Sorry, that's Europe. We were hoping to see per cubic foot get up to about $2.60, but especially with the flirtation going on here with the weekly. I mean, it's right on the edge. Let's widen that puppy out. You can see right there. Right there. Let's widen that puppy out. Go like that. There. And then let me move her over like so. There you go. You can see it all now. Yeah, so instead we're seeing the weakness again. If only Europe would get some of that weakness. I wish. Give Europe some cheaper natural gas, please. All right, and then from there, what we're going to do is we'll put it up on J4X. Right. It's around here somewhere. There it is right there. And there's Nat Gas going into the red. Same game as us. Same pressure. Same clarity. And then from that point of view, we go to... that's it on Chicago Quant. But let's dance our way. And I'm going to just throw up the fast intraday algorithms for S&Ps on one side. And let's go look at that natural gas in Spain. That company down there gives us a good idea what's going on. And is that it? No, that's not it. That's palladium. There it is. Right there. Please be under 27. 28.43 offers. Oh, there just does not seem to be any relief for Europe and natural gas at this point. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. Maybe next winter. All right. All right, from there we'll go take a look at the stock indices. Get a flavor of what's going on in the stock indices, and we've already mentioned not only is we're going to put the S&P on there. We're going to go like this. We'll go with, I want to show you, there's Bitcoin, and it's been moving down for days. And then let's go over to here and put the S&Ps on there. Now we know that the pressure's been on the S&Ps for a couple of days. You can see that pressure, but without that, when we see the leading crypto, Bitcoin, selling down, it seems to be a warning constantly, just like the way we look at Canadian and oil, and we look at South African Rand and gold. And there's no doubt that Bitcoin, or the crypto in particular, that crypto in particular, leads the stock indices. And we said that a couple of days ago in the webinar. Now let's take a look at, we can look at, which is interesting, is we go to the Dow. We showed you what the Dow is doing. There's the that's the VIX. Is it updating yet? Yeah, now it's updating. It's at 1750. And so here is the front month contract in the Dow Jones Industrial Average of 3 days in pressure, intersecting with the two what we call the green dot trend lines. That's what these are. This is something I invented before I put this whole match together in 1981. I put this all together, and it definitely worked out really well. So what we see here now is that the how to describe this? I guess we can say that the pressure is coming from the cryptos are putting pressure onto the cryptos, and obviously it's the stock indices are joining in with it. That's what it comes down to. So I got a butterfly that expires on tomorrow. and we're not getting far away from it. I'm very happy. And I had a buy right on, and I locked that in with a put. So we're like cheering for more downside. But I know that there is no cheering in trading. So, well, we're going to get out of here. This is it. This is Doc. I want to get ready to do the rest of the marketplace live for myself. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Be safe, be smart.